Hello everybody and welcome to episode 63 of the Pentagon Challenge, where I begin a new life in Brazil. And of all the teams you could possibly ask for, the vacancy of dreams has appeared. Vasco da Gama have asked me to be their new manager, and I'm absolutely over the moon with that decision, as the fact that I was Vasco da Gama Cape Town at the very beginning of the challenge, it just means ridiculous irony. I'd never expected to be offered this job, and the situation that led up to me getting this job is even more ridiculous. So if you have a moment, I'd like to walk through it with you. So we'll have to begin where it ended in China, and that was in the midway point of the season. I decided enough was enough and I wanted to leave the club. So my last ever game in charge with Shencha was here, where we dismantled fully by 5-2. But then some big jobs were becoming available, and I was wanting to become interested. So I decided, after past experiences of not being given a job, I decided to resign immediately and to apply for the job in question. And it turned out to be Adelaide United. So let's have a look at them. Adelaide, if I can spell it. There we are. Adelaide United. So there we are. They are previous champions of the A-League in this save, and their manager, I believe, would have quit. Let me double check. Yeah, he got sacked after 8 years, which is a big deal. So this man was doing such a great job after leaving Barcelona to come to Adelaide in the first place. But then the job became available, and Alistair Edwards was actually the successful candidate. And if you compare him to my character, he is vastly inferior in my opinion. So that he left Melbourne City FC, so he's obviously gotten a big jump in career prospect. But then there were some other jobs I was interested in, such as John Book. They were the other people I wanted to manage. They were struggling badly in the K-League. As we can show you now, they are very much out of anything worthy of this season. But the fact that they were, mid-tier or upper class team just a few seasons ago in South Korea garnered my interest, and I wanted that job. And again, it was the case of an inferior manager getting the position. So then I went to Melbourne City FC. They also turned me down. It's the exact same story. And then the biggest scandal, in my opinion, is this one. The Mamelodi Sundowns lost their manager, Papic, as he decided to retire after a career of distinction. He had such a fantastic run of it, but decided his time was up and he wanted to retire from the Sundowns. So what did the board do? They hired Stephen Pienaar instead of me, and I just found that totally mind-boggling. I will say about Pienaar, he is a former South African star, and he managed Jomo Cosmos into reasonable success, but he only ever won the South African FA Cup. And I just felt I should have got that job, because I was in South Africa before. I knew the league, I knew what was needed, but I was shocked when I got turned down. So this job was also out of reach, as they got a new manager in, and the Jomo Cosmos are doing quite well. But the Sundowns are out of the Champions League already. I wanted to save them from elimination from that tournament, but they're very much out. So Pienaar has his work cut out if he's going to keep the very loyal Sundowns fans happy, as they've been up and down the pyramid, I suppose, in South Africa, but they've won the title so often over the years in this save. They have never been out of the top three, so that's why I wanted that job, and it went out of my hands, I suppose. But then the champions, let me re-emphasize that, the champions of Brazil, I suppose the former champions of Brazil, to be more precise, they were interested after sacking their manager, and I just thought, I'm going to apply for it, I've nothing else going. And incredibly, they gave me an interview and found I was the best candidate. So every other club found someone worse than me, but Vasco da Gama, despite winning the league as recently as 2022, felt I was the best. So absolutely remarkable turn of fortune, and it's absolutely fantastic to be in charge in the South American leagues now. Vasco da Gama, though, this is the situation that led to the dismissal of the manager, who was absolutely class. Like, I will say, how I got this job, it's exactly the same as Shencho, I'll never know. Jorginho, an icon of the club with 3.5-star reputation. I have a lot of work to do if I'm going to be anything like him, but this is my first day in the job, and I have a game to play, which we will see, of course, later on. But Vasco da Gama have won the Copa Libertadores already. That was in 1998. So let's make sure we repeat that feat. So hopefully, unlike in China where I got bored after winning the league once and then falling away, this is probably the club, if I can earn the trust of the board, this is where I want to stay until we actually win a tournament on the continent, as of course Brazil is a country that should be sending their clubs into the continental finals and semi-finals and all that. So that's my objective. But will we win the league for the 7th time? Probably not this year, but we'll certainly be aiming for it in future. And then winning the Brazilian Cup should be a massive priority as well. So we'll take a look at the fixtures and see what happened that needs to be addressed. You can see they're on a very good run in the month of August. Just the one game that went wrong for them. But then these last 4 games against very poor teams, Goiás, Fortaleza, Boa and Criciúma, if I'm pronouncing that right, they all managed to take points away from Vasco, and that's absolutely unacceptable. Look at Boa, look at Criciúma, look at Goiás, and so on and so forth. They're bottom half clubs, and the board felt enough was enough, time to get rid. So the financial situation is amazing. This is, quite unbelievable. My transfer budget isn't so high, so I might have to sell a star player that's moaning to make sure I can fit the kind of players I need to take the club forward. And of course I have a lot of staff to hire. If we can have a look here, we need a director of football, we need more coaches, we need another physio, we need a wider variety of scouts, and we might need some youth coaches as well. So very hard work lies in store for me. But for today's game against Fluminense, and the most important thing that I can do for you this episode is to introduce the squad. But I will do that in proper detail in the next episode, as I really, really want to get a game with the former champions of Brazil pretty much recorded for you. And this is the tactic that I've been forced to go with. I rarely ever use this tactic, but because we've so few wingers and so many attacking midfielders, I felt this was the right thing to do. We are also demanded to play defensive football, but more direct football, if I can get you the philosophies, club issues. There we are. So we need to bring in youngsters, we need to play direct football, but we need to be defensively minded as well. So that has been addressed in this tactic. We'll look at the instructions. We're going to exploit the middle. Our passing is more direct. We're going to stick to positions. We'll be structured, and we'll be playing counter-attack. We have balanced width. We'll be running at the defence, trying the overlap, and staying on our feet with tight marking also. So that will hopefully get the players going as I need them to. And I haven't set any particular player instructions yet. I usually ask the keeper to kick it short, but I'm not going to do that in this tactic until I get used to it. But some of the players that you want to know their identities immediately. Guillermo Centurion, if I'm pronouncing that right. He is the star midfielder, but I have no choice but to play him in centre back today, as we've no one else available. Rafael Magales, he's the star striker, nearly 30 years of age. He was a big money buy a few years ago for them. Oh no, he's just this season, 6.5 million and a player exchange, and he scored 17 times this season. I don't know how many are in the official Brasileirão, but he's definitely the man who should be playing up front. Who else is good? Leandro is fantastic. 25 years old. He has done quite a reasonable job, but he hasn't played very often, and he's listed. But I'd like to keep him as he is a quality player, and he's a good young age. And then who else is good? I think it's Leandro. No, it's not him. No, it's not him. Barrios is the guy who's asking to leave, and I might have to give in since he is worth a lot of money. Who is it? That's also good. Batista is a good youth. Oh no, he's not, sorry. So many things to remember. I'm fairly sure, yeah, this guy, Alexandre, at 25 years of age, he is brilliant. Some of these core stats, but I'd like if we could have some more defensively minded midfielders, as it just seems to be, most of our guys are playmakers. But look at the 18 passing, the 16 first touch, 17 composure, 19 decisions, and 16 vision. Unbloody believable, I suppose. But he is too tired to play from the start, and we'll have to try and use 3 of our 12 substitutes as wisely as we can. But that's something I can appreciate, or technically 11 substitutes. But anyway, let's just head into this game against local rivals Fluminense. They are 12th in the league, so we should be beating these guys. But it is away from home, so we don't know. They are in very good form, unbeaten in the last 5. Their team, is it any good? Actually, we don't have a report, so we don't know. We'll look at that later. But their tactics are also very narrow. So I think we can take advantage of that if we're halfway competent. So let's have a look at some of the other games. Sao Paulo, Flamengo, I think they're the holders. Yeah, they're the holders of the league. And then there's a draw in the middle there. So if we can get this result, the fans will probably be a little skeptical of me coming from China with only one previous accomplishment, that was winning the league. So I have to prove everybody wrong and get the league chase back on track, as I want to qualify for the Copa Libertadores as quickly as I can and make sure we get into that tournament in flying form. But the transfer window, I think, closes in October. It's quite an unusual thing, because being from Europe, you wouldn't think the transfer windows could possibly be open for more than 3 months, 4 months at a time. But I think that is the case in Brazil, and I'll need to sell some players to buy players. But because this game is happening on the same day I landed in Rio, I'll just have to adjust to the squad I've been given. And a win here could get us in the top 5 results, depending. But certainly Fluminense will feel the exact same way. They're only a point behind us, and they will be hungry for a result. So they are playing that expected tactic, the 4-4-2 narrow, but we're going 4-2-3-1 narrow. Can I do anything else with these guys? No, I don't think so. So we'll just mark the opposition. Popo and Nene, some of them look, they are very, very handy youngsters for definite. We'll see if they're any good. 5 goals in 9 league games. Popo, meanwhile, has 7 and 12, so definite warning lights there. I need to mark them up. And then Oscar Romero from Paraguay. He's old, but he can certainly provide the required experience. We have 1-star rating there, but I think we'll go for Jorge Luis. See if we can negate his potential contribution to the game. And they've got the 12 substitutes as well. I have no idea what this will be like, but I'm so excited. It's always a big deal to move clubs in the Pentagon Challenge. It shows you're either on the rise or declining. So you can see quite remarkable fluctuations of goals and assists and appearances. It's all absolutely fantastic to see. But anyway, we'll just stick with the tactic as I have entrusted. So let's head straight into this match. The sounds are on. This is my debut in the Maracanã, of all the stadiums to make your debut in Brazil. It is the Mecca in Maracanã. So the players somewhat trust me. That's crucial. I don't want to be seen as a spoof or anything like that. So if the players trust me, I trust them. Let's get to kick-off and my return to a club called Vasco da Gama. And the animations seem a little jittery, but we are in the familiar black with white diagonal stripe. And Fluminense playing green and red, if you didn't know that. But let's just get some passion going. I don't speak much Portuguese in real life. I only know the basics. But hopefully I'll learn the language in double quick time. He goes route 1. And that will be Andrini to Claire. Fonseca to Leandro. And 2 Leandros are playing today, I did notice. And that's a kick off the ball. Edson is sent off. 10 minutes is all that was needed. We have a red card and we're going to demand more out of the players. Control. It's Jorge Luis, great save, and then Centurion has reacted quickest. Absolutely vital he got there. But now Jorge Luis to Darlin, and Valiente cleared, and now the counter-attack may begin here. No. Barrios to Macales. Go on, yes! The new era has begun. 20 goals for Macales this season, and that puts us in the top 5. Time to concentrate. If you guys are defensively minded, then you will listen. But Vasco da Gama's season may be on the right track again. Popo has bruised his shin, but we have to remain structured. I promised the board I won't play too much attacking football, and in order to keep this dream job I have to do what I'm told at the beginning anyway. But if we can get a few more wins under our belt, we could possibly push for the title. And this is quite extraordinary. Carlos Matthews, within the first 30 seconds, has been dismissed. And that can only prove to be a disaster. Our right backs on the bench are very, very bad. Daniel Guedes is only 3 stars, but Michel is probably a club veteran, and he has no right to be playing in these kind of games. We've also got Cesar Davis from Ecuador, but I don't want to risk him as he's extremely tired. I think Christian Barrios will have to take the sacrifice. Who can play in? I think Evander will have to move backwards now, leaving Leandro in the slightly damaged Christmas tree. We have one less branch than I'd like, but anyway, we can't control the game anymore as it's 10 on 10, and we'll just have to do what we can, maintain the lead, stay in the top 5. There's this quick set piece by Jorge Luis, and Leandro's going to get stuck in there. We haven't even made our changes, and he's risking a red card. Daniel Guedes to Ronaldo, switches the flank to Leandro, into the other Leandro. Fonseca outside the box, goes to Guedes. Leandro whips it in. 2-0. 1-2-3. It's terrific from Macales. He is leading by example, giving me the sort of wriggle room that's needed to blood a new regime. So what a player we have in our hands here. A brace on my very first game, but we can't risk a red card now. There's the save by Andrini. Popo has gone to the corner. He is still clutching his shin, but this could be a 1 goal back. Evander blocks. Very impressive stuff indeed. So there it is at the far post, but Andreini can save that. We don't want to lose from this position. We're above the likes of Sao Paulo and Gremio, some fantastic clubs. But Linderman and Darlian have something to say. Barreto to Romero. Mena does sneak it into the corner. It's an immediate impact from the young striker. And this game is well and truly on. The Maracana has its moment, but they will be pushing for the equaliser. We'll go back to the counter-attack. And then Leandro will push him up and try and get Batista into the game. We're just going to hold on to possession. We'll retain it now, seeing as it makes a bit of sense. Our passing game has been quite good actually, 73% for 48% possession. That was a tumble in the box, and it's not over yet. Sepulveda was the first to react. Absolutely vital that he got there, but Fluminense on the ascendancy. 2 minutes is injury time. Guedes does get there. Lovely determination. Sepulveda, Evander, Leandro tries again. Leandro again. Evander, no help from Ronaldo, he has to stay back. Evander now clutches his leg. It's Valiente. Look at the Fluminense shirts pushed forward. Ronaldo though has cleared it, but there will be time for a throw in. We'll have to tighten up. It's a goal kick though, we missed that, but there should be another 30 seconds to make up for the small injury. There we go, all the way up to Batista. Leandro over to Batista. And that's game over. Vasco da Gama have the winning start that I needed so badly. And we are now up into the top 5 of the league. But to get to the Copa Libertadores, we need a top 4. But either way, I'm so relieved to get this new campaign off to a winning start. And Magalhães will be the symbol of my praise. He got the 2 goals. That was the smash and grab. But I'll certainly be looking to sign more players over the coming weeks. Maybe sell some of the guys I don't need. But anyway, if Palmeiras waste their game in hand, or Flamengo or Santos would like to drop some points, I'll be grateful. But the league leaders, Cruzeiro, have lost. So we're not out of the title hunt yet. We've only lost 5 times in 26 games. So we just need to turn those draws into wins. And a remarkable story could unfold here, as the former Vasco da Gama Cape Town manager could guide Vasco to another Brasileirão, as I should say. That could be, fairy tale stuff, but I'm not going to get carried away. We need to keep this job in the first place. I have a contract until 2026, which is a wonderful sign of confidence from the board, but the sacking culture is very prevalent here in Brazil, and any mistakes will be punished. But I'll see you for the meet the team introduction sort of episode, and then we'll play Sao Paulo in the second leg of the Copa do Brasil, as I want to make a cup final, it's only a quarter final. Excuse me, I'm getting carried away, as I shouldn't be. But if we win the quarter final, we'll face Corinthians or Goiás, and then the final, if we somehow get there, that'll be huge for my confidence. But anyway, that's a very long episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you can enjoy this new adventure in Brazil. See you later, everybody. Bye.